Let's talk about artificial intelligence. It feels like it's everywhere, but it's so much more than just a new app on your phone. It's a full-blown revolution, and it's happening right now, reshaping our world faster than anything that's come before. But like any huge shift, it's creating a new global map, one with incredible new opportunities, but also some really deep new divides. So in this explainer, we're going to unpack that. We're going to look at who's building it, who's using it, and who's getting left behind. To really get your head around the scale of this, just look at this number, 1.2 billion. That's how many people have used AI tools in less than 3 years. Think about that. That's more than 1 out of every 8 people on the entire planet. It's not just a big number, it's a sign of a massive historic shift happening in real time. And if that number doesn't blow your mind, this chart will put it into perspective. It took smartphones about a decade to reach that kind of scale. The internet, even longer, about 15 years. But AI did it in just 3. It's completely shattered the record. Nothing in human history has ever spread this fast. All right, so here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll talk about why AI is a true revolution. Then we'll get into a really crucial idea, the difference between inventing something and actually getting it out into the world. After that, we'll look at the growing global AI divide, uncover the 5 things you absolutely need to get in the game, and finally see who's actually winning right now. Okay, let's dive right in. AI, the next revolution. And to really get it, we have to think about AI in a specific way. Not just as another tool, but as something called a general-purpose technology. So what on earth is a general-purpose technology? Well, think of the absolute game changers in history. The printing press, which took information out of the hands of the few and gave it to the many. Or electricity, which, powered the entire modern world. The internet, which connected all of us. These weren't just inventions. They were technologies that rewrote the rules for society. And that is exactly the league that AI is playing in. And that idea of rewriting the rules brings us to a really important concept, invention versus diffusion. Because as we're about to see, just creating a breakthrough technology is only step 1. The real power, the real revolution, happens when it actually spreads. This quote just nails it perfectly. Thomas Edison invents the light bulb, a brilliant, world-changing idea. But a single light bulb in a lab doesn't change anything, right? It wasn't until we built massive power grids and millions of regular people could flip a switch in their homes that the world truly changed. The invention is the spark, absolutely. But the spread, that's the wildfire. So this whole process is really driven by 3 different groups. You've got your frontier builders. These are the geniuses, the inventors. Then you have the infrastructure builders, the ones who lay the pipes and build the roads to make it all work at scale. And finally, you have the most important group of all, the users. Us, the millions of people and companies who actually take the technology and do something real with it. Now, to see just how critical this is, let's jump in a time machine. Go back to 1960. We're looking at 2 countries, South Korea and the Philippines. And what's wild is that economically, they were basically identical. Their income per person was almost the same. They were at the exact same starting line. But look what happened over the next few decades. Their paths went in wildly different directions. Why? South Korea didn't invent the semiconductor, but they became completely obsessed with adopting it and scaling it. They bet their entire economy on it. The Philippines didn't, and the result? South Korea's economy just exploded into a global powerhouse, while the Philippines grew much more slowly. It's the perfect lesson. Adoption, not just invention, can literally define a nation's destiny. Which brings us right back to today, and the central question of this whole explainer. A world divided by AI, with everything we know, is this incredible revolution actually reaching everyone? I mean, we started with that huge number, right? Over 1 billion users. It makes it sound like AI is everywhere. But is it really? Are the benefits of this incredibly powerful new technology spreading out evenly across the world? Well, the data gives us a pretty clear and sobering answer. Nope, not even close. There is a massive adoption gap. In the global north, think North America and Europe, adoption's around 23%. But in the global south, it plummets to just 13%. The divide isn't coming, it's already here, and it's stark. So why is this happening? To understand the root causes, we need to look at what we're calling the 5 building blocks. This is the story of why nearly 4 billion people, that's half the world, are at serious risk of being left on the wrong side of the AI revolution. C. To use AI, you need more than just an app. You need a foundation. And we're talking about some really fundamental stuff. Things like reliable electricity, access to giant data centers, a stable internet connection, basic digital skills, and, this is a big one, the AI actually needs to speak your language. If even one of these blocks is missing, that door to the AI economy stays locked. Let's start with the most basic thing imaginable: electricity. It powers our devices, the internet, the massive data centers running this whole show. And yet, right now, 750 million people around the world still live without it. It's pretty simple. You can't run a large language model if you can't even turn on a light bulb. Next up, data centers. You can think of these as the physical brains of AI. And where are those brains located? Well, the concentration of power is staggering. 86% of the world's entire data center capacity is located in just two countries, the US and China. That creates a massive infrastructure bottleneck for literally everyone else. And, of course, the internet. It's the highway that delivers AI to us. And the impact here is just incredible. Take a country like Zambia. The overall AI adoption rate is about 12%. But if you look only at the people there who have internet access, that number jumps to 34%. It triples. Connectivity isn't just a feature, it's the gateway. Now, this final barrier is one we don't often think about: language. AI models are trained on the massive amounts of data from the internet. The problem: about half of the entire web is in English, yet only about 5% of the world's population are native English speakers. You see the massive disconnect? This creates a huge systemic bias, making AI less useful or sometimes completely useless for billions of people around the globe. Okay, so the picture looks pretty challenging, I know, but it's not all bad news. Let's shift gears and look at who's actually making this work right now, some of the surprising leaders, and what the path forward could look like for everybody else. And this is where it gets really interesting, because the leaders in AI adoption, they might surprise you. It's not just the US and China. Countries like the United Arab Emirates, Singapore, Norway, and Ireland have some of the highest AI usage rates in the world. And what this proves is vital. You don't have to be the one inventing the frontier models to lead. With smart government policies, strategic investment in infrastructure, and a focus on skills, you can create an environment where AI thrives. It's all about readiness. And there's more good news on the tech front. At the very cutting edge, the technology itself is getting more accessible. The performance gap between the world's top AI models is shrinking fast. China is now less than 6 months behind the US frontier, and others are catching up. So the technology is becoming less of a hurdle. But remember, having the car doesn't help if you don't have roads to drive on. So that leaves us with the ultimate question. We know for a fact that AI is spreading faster than any technology we've ever seen. But where is it taking us? Is this incredible tool going to be the thing that finally shrinks our world, connecting us and creating opportunity for everyone? Or will it just become the next great divider, making the gaps that already exist even deeper? The truth is, that story isn't written yet. The answer depends on whether we decide to build not just the technology, but all the foundations for everyone to be able to use it.